Welcome back to Max Reaction. Hopefully you've had a good day. My day's been decent. And today we're going to react to a subscriber requested video. I've done many videos on Ferdinand Marcos, but we're going to do another one because it was requested and I like to fulfill the request. It's the least I can do for everybody joining the channel, watching, commenting, spending your time. So we're going to do the golden ages of the Philippines, Ferdinand Marcos Achievements, the Untold Story. Ooh, so since it's an Untold Story, maybe I'll learn something new, maybe I won't. I don't know. Let's get into it.
Almost 21 years as a president of the Philippines.
Long time.
A lawyer, jurist, and politician from Ilocos Norte, Philippines. He is Ferdinand Marcos, the 10th president of the Philippines who served from 1965 to 1986. According to some information written in the history books, his administration was covered with many controversies and hearsay about corruptions and human rights violations during the martial law. But some of these allegations are not yet proven until now. We cannot deny the fact that there are some people believe that his administration was the golden age of the Philippines.
And I've heard that from quite a few people, you know, that it was the golden age. People I even know in the Philippines that are friends and family, I've been told, you know, certain things, it felt like the golden age. And like it just said, there's a lot of accusations and some of them's not even proven up until this day. So will they ever be proven? I don't know.
Because during his time, the Philippines is the top 2 country in Asia next to Japan in terms of economic growth.
Good stat.
Where the peso-dollar exchange rate is equivalent to 3 pesos equals $1.
I can't even imagine that, because what is it now, like 47 pesos per dollar, and it used to be just 3 pesos per dollar? That is a huge, huge difference. Huge.
When President Marcos was ousted in 1986, the exchange rate is 25 pesos
Even
per 1
25.
US dollar. So today in this video, we will talk about the achievements of Ferdinand Marcos during his time. An era where the Philippines is one of the tigers of Asia, a long time ago.
21 years of service. 2 decades plus 1.
In order to make the Philippines a food-sufficient country, he introduced the Green Revolution. The main goal of the program Green Revolution is to increase the food production here in the Philippines.
Yes.
A program where scientists and rice researchers developed a variety of rice, named IR8 hybrid rice. IR8 hybrid rice is a type of rice that can produce bigger heads of grain and grow in a short period of time. Because of this program, rice production increased from 1.2 metric tons of pale to 2.4 metric tons of pale per hectare.
Doubled.
The Philippines also exported $7 million worth of rice. First time in the history that the Philippines became self-sufficient in rice in 1968, since the American period.
So was that like during his early years, 1968? Must have been.
There is also a program named Blue Revolution or Bayang Dagat. A program where local fishermen can borrow money from the government for their needs.
I've heard about this.
This program also helped the local fishermen to develop some fishery techniques to have a better production. Where some marine species like milkfish, tilapia, mullet, and prawn were distributed in the markets at a low price. The program named Bakahang Barangay.
Bakahang Barangay.
This program supported fattening of 40,000 head of cattle in farmer backyards.
I've noticed that when I'm in the Philippines, the cows are much more skinny in the Philippines compared to here in the United States. But here in the United States, they pump them full of all kinds of who know what, steroids, and all kinds of crazy stuff to fatten them up. And it's probably not as healthy. So I imagine the Philippines cattle is probably more healthy, even though they're a lot more skinny. And of course, it's always hot in the Philippines, so that plays an effect too.
Where the local farmers can receive a pair of cattle from the government in the rural areas.
Corn.
A program named Expanded Yellow Corn Program. With the help of this program, the government granted the 4.7 billion pesos loans from 1975 to 1985 to support the local farmers.
A lot of peso right there.
The Kilusang Kabuhayan at Kaunlaran, or KKK, in 1981. A program that supports 25,000 entrepreneurial projects which aim to establish viable productive enterprises in communities through self-help and self-reliance. The government spent 1.8 billion pesos to help its 500,000 beneficiaries for the livelihood projects, where the government also provides marketing guidance and assistance to enhance effective marketing complementation. The Presidential Decree No. 27 or Tenants Emancipation Act of 1972. The first land reform code in the Philippines. After this decree was implemented, around 1.2 million farmers became the owner or leaseholder of more than 1.3 million hectares of rice and corn lands.
So you telling me before that they really didn't own them, but after this act they did? Well, that's a super positive thing.
On October 19, 1979, President Marcos mandated the Ministry of Health to adopt primary health care or PHC. This medical care program was made accessible to millions of Filipinos who lived in remote areas in the Philippines. The objective of this program is to improve the level of health care in the community. There are two types of primary health care workers in the Philippines: the barangay health worker or village health worker and the intermediate level primary health worker. According to the United Nations, this program is the most effective and most responsive health program among the third world countries.
Hot damn. So far he's helped with a lot of food issues, health issues. Like, these are positive things. So even if you didn't like Marcos, there was positivity that came out of it that helped, you know, everybody, especially the poor, it sounds like.
President Marcos also wanted the Philippines to become an energy self-reliance. That's why during his time, 20 power plants were made.
Every country should be.
Many of these power plants are indigenous energy sources such as hydro, geothermal, dendrothermal, coal, biogas and biomass. So that the Philippines won't become an oil-dependent country because of the indigenous energy sources power plants. Because of the large energy resource exploration and research, it resulted in a massive oil importation reduction. According to statistics, from 100% oil importation in 1965, it decreased to 40% in 1985.
That is super positive.
And thousands of cities and towns were fully energized during that time. The Philippines is the first country in Asia to use dendrothermal power plant, and the second country in geothermal utilization, next to the US.
Wow.
Here are some power plants built during the President Marcos regime. Leyte Geothermal Power Plant in 1977. Angat Hydroelectric Power Plant in 1967.
Water.
Makiling Banahaw Geothermal Power Plant in 1979.
A lot in the 70s.
Tiwi Geothermal Power Plant in 1980. Calayan Hydroelectric Power Plant in 1982. Magat Hydroelectric Power Plant in 1984. Pantabangan Hydroelectric Power Plant in 1977. Agos 2 in 1979, Agos 4 in 1985, Agos 5 in 1985, and Agos 7 Hydroelectric Power Plant in 1982.
My birth year, 82.
Ulangi Hydroelectric Power Plant in 1985. Masawi Hydroelectric Power Plant in 1980. Calaca Coal Power Plant in 1984.
Damn, it's a lot of power plants.
Cebu Thermal Power Plant in 1981. Palayan Southern Negros Geothermal Production Field in 1983. There are also some labor reforms were made during the Marcos regime.
13th month pay.
The Magna Carta of Labor, that promotes the overseas contract work where many Filipinos given the opportunity to work abroad. During his time, the maritime industry was also dominated by Filipinos, wherein around 50,000 seamen were employed in various world
Still
shipping
a lot of
companies.
them today.
This labor code also extends the greater protection to labor, promote employment, and human resource development. And the very famous every month of December, the 13th month pay. Presidential Decree No. 851, or also known as the 13th month pay law, was signed by President Marcos on December 16, 1975. A labor code that mandated all the employers to give 1/12 of the annual salary of their employees before 24th of December.
I need that. I need that. Here.
His administration also implemented some reform in education, where the government allocated 58.7 billion pesos for the education programs. Because of this program, the literacy rate in the Philippines increased from 72% in 1965 to 93% in 1985.
That is damn awesome.
63 out of 108 state universities and colleges are being founded and established during the time of President Marcos.
That is awesome.
Infrastructure projects like bridges that are constructed and completed during the Marcos regime. The San Juanico Bridge, that stretches from Samar to Leyte, completed in 1973. Mactan-Mandoy Bridge in Cebu, it connects the Mandoy City and Lapu-Lapu City, completed in 1972.
Mactan.
Candaba Viaduct in Apalit, Pampanga, completed in 1976.
A lot of bridges, power, food, health.
Bunton Bridge that stretches from Tuguegarao City to Salonan in Cagayan, completed in 1974. Patapit Viaduct in Pagudpid, Ilocos Norte, completed in 1986. Biliran Bridge in Biliran Island, completed in 1975. Magapit Suspension Bridge, it connects the east and west sides of Cagayan River, completed in 1978.
Old but beautiful.
Moo Bridge in Victoria, Northern Samar, completed in 1970. You can watch also the other infrastructure projects of President Marcos in our previous video on this channel. National Manpower and Youth Council, NMYC, was founded in 1976. It was changed to Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, TESDA, in 1994. Even how great his programs and projects for the Philippines during his time. People remembered him as a dictator, corrupt leader, and human rights violator. A common Filipino trait that remember the bad things and forget the good things. We cannot deny the fact that many of these projects are still useful until now. During his time, the Philippines is one of the biggest rice exporter countries in Asia. That's why some foreign students came here to study on agriculture. A truly amazing achievement that you cannot read in any history books as of today.
Now we know.
A fruitful administration that has been forgotten by many Filipinos as the years passed by.
Well, let's not, like he said, let's not forget the good with the so-called bad. You gotta take them both, you know. And I know everybody's views different on Marcos, but there's no denying the fact that he helped with the food, he helped with the health, he helped with the transportation, with all the bridges. He's most certainly helped with the power issue and the literacy issue. And these are all positive things, so we can't take those away ever. And they do need to be remembered. It is what it is. And there's other things that he did. They mentioned another video. I don't think I've seen their other videos, so maybe we'll get to it another day. But I don't know. What's your thoughts? Comment down below. Let me know. Be communicative. I love reading the comments. Let me know what I should react to next. Hopefully you're having a positive, good, great day or evening, whatever it may be. And I'll see you next time. Peace.